Welcome to yet another edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. As promised, we're coming to you early with our take on the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. Well, it never ceases to amaze me how things can go on even in such, shall we say, disarray. Now we know that Sunday night a lot of things came out through WikiLeaks, 20,000 emails. You notice how emails seem to follow the Bitchery Clinton? Well, 20,000 emails surfaced again about her and the DNC and the crazy things that they were doing. Well, I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and we're going to take a look at this bit of nastiness right now. Again, as I said, all these emails surfaced about how they actually shafted Bernie Sanders, and Bitchery, the Bitch Clinton, and her cohort, Debbie Wasserman, I forgot the other part of her name, the hyphenated part, Wasserman Schultz. Is it Schultz? Wasserman Schultz?
I think so.
They shafted the poor guy. All that came to light, and they go on with this convention as though nothing had happened. She subsequently was booed off the stage when she was trying to speak, this Debbie Wasserman person. And then she ended up resigning her post, but get this, she signed on to the Bitchery Clinton's campaign as a top official. So, you know, sleazeballs actually follow each other, and, you know, it just never ends. So they go on with this convention, and right off the bat, you could see their theme, which is stronger together, because everybody was there. And they were all paired off, black and white. Black and white. And even the audience was dotted with black and white and different ethnicities. Even saw a few muzzies in the audience with their hijabs and what have you. And it was so phony, you know, because you could really tell they were pumping it up. And to throw off on the RNC that just took place last week. Now, stronger together. That's a standard cop-out now that you got all these foreigners in your country and you got no way to get rid of them. So, yeah, we're stronger together. And we know that that's a bunch of crap, because when you put a lot of people in one spot, you can take family members, as I alluded to many times before, with our grandmother. Now, Nan didn't like pizza that much. She would eat it, but she didn't really, you know, she wasn't going to run over anybody trying to get any of it. Me, I love pizza. The exec, Chris, loves pizza. But Nan didn't like it that much. Nan liked bananas. She loved them. She loved peaches and nectarine, you know, all the stone fruit. I couldn't stand peaches. There's some things that the exec doesn't like, and we're family. So, you know, if you're going to have dislikes and, you know, well, I'd rather have this than that in families, then how much more so when you try to push all of these different cultures together and, you know, claim it's a mixing pot. Sometimes it may work, most often it doesn't. But like I said, stronger together, standard cop-out. There was also this influx of foreigners speaking about their heritage. Every time they came up, I'm the proud daughter, the proud son of immigrant parents. Who bloody cares? We're in $20 trillion worth of debt. We've got no jobs. People are hungry. People are in the streets. All of our stuff is falling apart. Airports, train, railroad tracks, buildings, bridges, you name it's falling apart. We are in the most dire situation we have since we've been in the 30s. What the hell does a foreigner's heritage have to do with getting our country back on track? Just total, utter stupidity. Then again, you had these people talking about the Bitchery Clinton and this creep that she picked as a running mate. You had first Cummings, who is one of the most disgusting people I have ever seen in my life. Elijah Cummings is disgusting. I can't stand that guy. To look at his turd face makes me want to cringe. And to hear his voice, oh God, where's my puke bucket? You messed up. You didn't have my puke bucket right on hand, right? Elijah Cummings. It should be more like Elijah Goings. Oh, what a dirtbag he is. And well, he came on with his little speech, and all of them were just overblown, trying to just, blow it out of the park with their speeches and crossing every T and dotting every I and giving you that moment where it's just, oh, this is the greatest thing since buttered bread. I mean, come on, you're talking about a crook. Anyway, he came and went, and then comes Booker, and he tried to blow it out of the park. And, it just made me sick because they're trying to outdo the Respublicans in their speeches for Trump. Then here comes the bombastic bastard of the night, Mrs. O'Bastard, with her overblown speech about how the kids look up to her and her stupid husband try to do everything because that their wonderful girls are looking up to them, and not only their girls but other people's children, and we have to be so careful about what we do because the children are watching, and we want to put our best efforts forward for our children. And then she went on to talk about when she looks out the window and see her beautiful daughters, beautiful black women, young black women playing with the dog on the White House lawn. It just makes her and every time she speaks, if you notice, she's so full of herself that it's actually like she gets so well up inside that she's about to cry. Oh God, I thought I was gonna puke for sure. What can I say about these people? They're all disgusting. All of them. And the more you look at them, honestly, the sicker and more disgusted I become, and it pushes me further and closer to the realization as to why I know our country has ended up the way it has. And better yet, the world has ended up the way it has. Because there's too many idiots out there that are in key positions, especially in this country, because they allow these foreigners to come in. There was one guy, he was some kind of senator or something, I forgot what his name was, or an assemblyman. He was some kind of foreigner, and he bragged and threw it in Donald Trump's face. What do you think about that, Donald? That he had come from being an illegal immigrant to a citizen, and now in the seat of politics, making decisions. We as a country allow this kind of crap to happen? I had to ask myself the question. You go to his country where he came from and find out how many Americans are in the seats of power in his country, or any of these foreign countries for that matter. But we are stupid and we allow this kind of crap to happen. And now no wonder we're on the outside looking in. I noticed last evening there was a blatant in-your-face attitude with this homosexuality. If you want to be a homosexual, that's okay. The Supreme Court has now deemed it fine. You can get married, you can do whatever it is you want to do. But why you got to be all up in people's face about it? I not one time at either convention, or anywhere for that matter, have ever heard anybody say, I'm Phil Taylor Jones, or I'm whoever, and I'm a proud heterosexual. That's my business as to what I am. That's your business as to what you are. Why put it out all over the world about you, being proud to be whoever you are? That's your pride. You don't have to inflict it on other people. But again, this stronger together crap. They're trying to throw off on this Trump character because he wants to, or at least he claims he wants to shut some things down, like foreigners coming in, muzzies coming in, what have you. It was just a horse and pony show, as they all are. As I said before, every 4 years, each one of these groups, respectively, will trot out their best jackass or their best pitiful mess and try to force you to vote for them. And neither one of them are worth a crap. There was also this little foreign girl. Remember when Bitchery Clinton, she was talking about the separation of families, and this little girl, she raised her hand and she began to talk about her family and her daddy was going to be deported or whatever. And then she said, come here, honey. And she hugged her and she said, let me worry about that. Your parents are here, or they want you to concentrate on being the best person you can be. Just let me worry about that. And then she hugged her. Oh boy, what a puke fest. Well, she had the little creature on the program last night with her mother. And I don't know what she said, because I tell you, when it comes to foreigners speaking, they don't have the right to speak in my house. So I mute it. Oh, bastard does not have the right to speak in my house. So when he comes on, I mute it. I don't want to hear anything out of his turd mouth. I don't want to hear anything out of a foreigner's turd mouth. So I mute it. So I don't know what she said. But just to look at her gestures and all this kind of thing, he raised her arms at the end, made me want to puke. Foreigners do not belong here, period. Especially the illegal ones. They need to be put out, as I've said before. Our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, whatever, if it has something in it that has to do with foreigners dropping these anchor babies in our country and then letting them stay here, it needs to be taken out of the Constitution, because we don't need a stick for them to crack our heads with. So that language has changed. Get on your boat, get on your train, get on your burro or whatever the hell it is you came over here on, and get the hell out. That's my philosophy. Then came around to Bernie Sanders, who I was really looking forward to, because I wanted to see what he was going to do. Okay, it's come out, it's worldwide news that he's been shafted. He's been stabbed in the back by this Democratic convention, Democratic committee or party. They've ripped up ballots that he has. There's, I think, 1 million plus ballots here in California that still haven't been accounted for. There's been other mix-ups in other states for Bernie Sanders. And I was really hoping that, one, his supporters would cause a ruckus. And they did. That reminds me, almost a point I forgot. There was this woman, she was appointed as the chairperson, Chairperson Fudge. She has a very tasty last name. But to look at her, there was nothing tasty looking about her. It was disgusting. That stupid smile and them crazy eyes through them specs. She looked like a crazy-eyed shark mouth. Anyway, she was speaking, and the Bernie people were shouting her down. And she didn't like it. She even went on to say, look, she got a little testy. I'm going to respect you and give you the right to speak and the right to say what you have to say. And you're going to do the same for me. And they kept shouting her down, and somebody else stepped up to speak. But she was in the eye of the camera, but you could tell she was visibly pissed. She was so pissed she couldn't even talk. She kept coughing. They gave her water and everything. And I was just loving it. I said, that's what you get for being crooked creeps. Anyway, after a while, we heard the Bernie Sanders people shouting for maybe 2 other speakers. And then all of a sudden there was a hush. And every time the Bitchery Clinton's name would come up, there was this loud cheer. And I looked at the exec and I said, something went wrong there. I bet you they got those people out there. They called security, what have you. And then the camera panned around and there was a big empty section. And that was probably where that big group of Bernie people were. And then there were a few there and they had tape on their mouth saying, we've been silenced. Now that's chicken crap right there if you ever saw it. Where's their freedom of speech? Huh? These people are so low that they've got to reach up to touch bottom. So I was looking forward to Bernie Sanders' speech, and he came out and he did exactly what I thought he would do. He backed this cretin, Bitchery Clinton. I said, man, you need to grow a pair. These people have done everything but literally slit your throat. And you're going to remain not only loyal to this stupid party, but then you're going to endorse this creep because you went in the back room with them and you made a few little deals and you actually believe that they're going to follow through on whatever it was you signed off on. You just threw away your principles. You threw away all your supporters. You stabbed them in the back. You are an old, disgusting creep. And you no longer need to be in politics if you're going to be that easily sidetracked, that easily swayed. And you have no right to get all these people all fired up behind you if you're going to, turn around and stab them in the back. And for what? Did she promise you a nice little seat in her cabinet? Or what did she promise you? That you should, just shaft your supporters like that. But anyway, he went on to do that. And they were showing pictures of Blowjob Willie in the upper seats in the audience. And he was whispering and probably plotting and doing something nasty. And the hurting thing of it all, between all of these people's speeches, the ones I mentioned, especially Sanders, they were sitting up there and they were crying. It was disgusting, sickening to see these people creature worshiping like that. Total nonsense. This guy, shafted by the party, throat slit by the Bitchery Clinton, he's standing up there looking very stupid, old and stupid. And yet, the people that were so angry turned around and started crying in support of this doddering old fool. It's no wonder we're in such a shape we're in, because of people and their creature worship. Now, some of the speeches that were given were pretty good. But the person they're given for, in the midst of all this scandal at this convention, made all of those speakers the biggest hypocrites this side of Cleveland. Because both of these people that the DNC were praising and the RNC were praising are none but dirtbags. You got the Bitchery Clinton talking about Trump like a dog. She has no room to talk about him. Look at her track record. Then you got Trump talking about Bitchery Clinton like a dog. He hasn't the right. Look at his track record. A lot of the things coming right out of his own mouth. Look at the David Duke incident. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about white supremacists. Come out of your act. You're 70 years old. You've been on this planet 70 years, and you don't know what a white supremacist group is? Please, don't play me, Donald. And then, his wishy-washiness about the Muzzies. And now his stupid rhetoric about, maybe we should ban the people from London, the people from Germany. So neither one of these two have the right to talk about each other because they're in it knee-deep. If I had been him, before I went to talking about, we don't win at anything anymore. We don't make anything. Every one of his clothing line, every one of his stemware, whatever he makes, comes from a different country. I would have started off, doing a little damage control, because people don't think what they want to think, but say, this is one of the reasons I'm running for president, because we in America, our politicians have regulated and taxed people so high that the businesses are leaving. Even me. I had to have my things made in another country because it's too expensive and I'm handcuffed and bogged down in too much red tape to make my stuff here. I'd much rather have the Donald Trump line from America, but I can't. I got to have it made other places. It might have been a little easier to swallow than to have somebody bring it out. The Trump College, Trump University, that's a debacle. $35,000 a pop, and all you get is a cutout size, statuette of him. Neither one of these two are fit to be president because they're both riddled with scandal. And obviously they're dirtbags. But to see people creature worship them. Oh, Hillary Clinton, she's the only one that can save us. Donald Trump, he's the only one that can save us. He's God. orange-haired god. Bitchery Clinton. Oh, the Clinton family, they're gods. Please. That's the kind of garbage that got us in deep with old bastard. Creature worship. Look at Angela Merkel. She's over there looking like a dog in the face because of what she's done to her country. These politicians, they are not to be worshipped. They are to be criticized. They are to be held accountable for the crap that they do. I will be watching. I am the exec. Will be watching tonight's convention. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I can't promise you that we're going to bring you all 4 days of this because literally it makes me sick, especially with these, because they're trying to overshoot what they did in Cleveland last week, and they're just trying to push this woman as being some kind of wonderful woman of substance, and we know that she is a dirt bag. And I'm trying to not be nasty here. I could say some other things, but I'll just be nice and say dirt bag. And this Trump fella, he's no different from she is. If you put both up in the bag and shake it up and turn it upside down, I don't know which one would fall out first. Maybe they might fall out at the same time. But our country is in trouble, and if we put either one of these two in office, we're gonna be in more trouble. They're all talking about these grandiose ideas, like the minute either one of them takes office, everything is just going to go back to zero and you're going to start fresh. No, if she gets in office, a $20 trillion debt is going to be staring her in the face. If he gets into office, a $20 trillion debt is going to be staring him in the face. Anything that they want to implement is going to be put on top of that already existing high debt. He, as a businessman, should understand that more than anybody. You got to spend money to make money. And if you're constantly spending on a big debt, it's only going to get increasingly bigger. And these Democrats talk about free college for everybody, free this, free that, freebies, freebies, freebies. Where's that money going to come from? Oh, it's going to come from the jobs we create. Have you ever stopped to think that since you ran these people out of the country, and they've been operating, doing business as those companies in foreign countries, maybe they've come to like it. And maybe they don't want to come back to the United States. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You fool me once. I was there making my stuff, and you rails the taxes on me and start putting these regulations, so we moved. No, I'm not coming back to deal with that. So now you got to try to create new. You got to try to come up with new stuff. That takes time. So how are you going to get your $20 trillion debt down? People, it's time to start thinking, not listening to these little slick, cool speeches. And some of them, I will admit, they're very slick. Mr. Booker was very articulate. He was very inspiring, using Maya Angelou's poem, I Rise. Very stellar performer, very good orator. Oh, bastard's wife. I guess she took some tips from him. She made an amazing speech. But it didn't hold water because of the person they were speaking about. It didn't hold water because of the Democratic Party being such a shambles and such a cheat fest. Bernie Sanders had a good little thing going. Okay, let the people have what they want. I will say this in his defense. When he came to the podium, the man must have said thank you about a good 30 times. The people wouldn't let him speak. They like him. Well, if they liked him better than they liked the Bitchery Clinton, then so be it. Let it fly. But no, you got to be crooked. You got to be devious. And people sit up there and creature worship. They sit up there and they hold up for this crooked party. The whole thing should have been canceled right off the books because you're crooks. You, Bitchery, the bitch Clinton, you don't deserve what you've gotten because you got it unfairly at the hands of some of the people in the party that you represent. So how could you stand before the American people and say, I'm going to be your honest and good-hearted president that's going to help you out when you're embroiled in crookedness even up to and including your own convention. And people will creature worship. This Donald Trump fella, same thing. He speaks in riddles. He paints with a broad brush. We still don't know the inner workings of anything he's planning to do. He too is embroiled in scandal. How he cheats his workers. How he skirts off and gets people to work for him and doesn't pay them. It's true, because if it wasn't, he'd be barking and screaming loud and clear. Trust me. But yet, they creature worship. Is that what you want to run your country? Because if it is, we're even more doomed than we are at present. Exec, what do you got? I gotta get me some water, pal.
Oh boy.
I need a shot of liquor, and I don't drink, but
Me too,
these
neither.
creeps driving a drink. Yeah.
The whole entire thing was disgusting. I was trying to think of the right words. I had them in my head, now they're gone. Well, the highlight of the show was when the main speaker, the person of the House, or I forgot the title you told me they had, was speaking. Chairperson. Yeah.
Convention chair.
And people kept saying Bernie, Bernie, and overtalked her, and she kept trying to repeat herself about 4 or 5 times, and then she finally just stopped talking and was looking visibly pissed. That was, they should have been doing that the whole time, and they had no right to stop their freedom of speech like that. They might have been able to kick them out, because it was their convention, but still they didn't have any right to do that, It just shows you what the Democrats are all capable of. And then they're all talking about all these different things that they've accomplished, all the great things they've done, what O'Bastard has done that's been so good, what O'Bastard's husband has done that's so good. It's really a Puke Fest, and that's going to be in the description, just like the Snore Fest was for the RNC. These people.
Talk about a turd steaming and flies swimming around it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what was worse. Having these people actually cry and fawn over what these people were saying, or what they were saying in and of themselves. The RNC, to compare, if I'm mistaken, I don't believe I am. The only time I saw them people crying was when they were doing the religious, prayers and everything, that people were crying and stuff. But these Democrats were actually crying about just regular people speaking. And, like they're such a savior, and what they're saying is overtaking their soul and everything.
They're like,
it's ridiculous.
Okay.
And this pitiful husband of his, there's a lot of people saying that she's, not a
female. Michael O'Bastard.
Going around showing videos of her, videos of her going around exercising, trying to fight for, non-obesity, and she got a jug butt herself. If anyone's ever seen it.
You have 50 feet of train behind.
Anyways, and they had this little stupid thing they kept doing, and how it came on was like a cute little boop, 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 boop. Trump in his own words. Oh. And they did that about at least 10 times. And if I recall from RNC, the things that they might have advertised about Bitchery Clinton, the bitch, was like maybe 2 times. But this thing was ridiculous. It came on like a little stupid little cartoon. Boop, 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 boop.
Like they got a right to talk about Trump.
You guys are childish. All it was a witch hunt. A Trump hunt.
Oh yeah, they even had the stupid signs, love Trump's hate.
Yeah, I reversed that and said Trump loves hate. Because they keep claiming he's supposed to be about divisiveness and hatred and everything. And speaking of him, they were talking about Trump University, and some people took the course and were angry because they used their life savings from a veterans fund or something like that. It's one lady.
Oh yeah, her husband had died, got killed.
No disrespect to her husband, but her husband didn't teach her much sense. If you're going to send $35,000, not $100,000, to a person just because they're successful and expect to become successful like them.
What did our grandmother teach us?
He probably had a disclaimer,
What did our grandmother teach us?
You investigate before you invest.
Thank you.
Put that kind of money into something, and if that's your whole entire life savings, you don't invest something like that. That's just a waste of money and a waste of resources. And it's her fault for doing that,
I don't care who it is or what their name is. You investigate that bastard before you give him 35 cents. And they're talking $35,000. That's a big hunk of change. And she had a son that she had to support. That could have supported her and her son for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. But this entire thing, every other person was a foreigner, so the TV was very silent most of the time. It was crazy. Not to say anything against any disabled person, because I have the highest respect for them trying to make the best of their lives as they could, but they even pulled out all the stops and bring a somewhat speech disabled person, I don't know if they had a stroke or what the problem was, some kind of condition they had, on a wheelchair, come up there and speak on behalf of Bitchery Clinton,
Nothing against the person with wheelchairs, the exec said, but it just shows him pulling out all the stops.
Pulling out every stop, and they did have
it's
more
using people.
And they did have, more black people in the crowd and speaking. I noticed that compared to the RNC. I'm not sure if they did that to prove to people that they're not racist, or if it was actually genuine.
Oh no, that's in accordance with their theme.
Or if it was actually
stronger
genuine.
Together.
Yeah, that's what made it allegedly look like they were trying to not be racist when they probably are. But the whole thing was just really nuts. And I think the worst part, I already told you what the shining moment was, but I think the most disgusting thing, and I'm even going further by saying that this is more disgusting than Michael's speech, Michael Obama. They had this stupid, funny looking, creepy looking Asian thing, and they were doing a commercial speaking about Trump and his stuff not being made in America. They had a guy in a suit, in a Trump suit, and he was saying, "This is made in USA. No, it's made in this. No, it's made in that." And the tie, what about the cufflinks? And he was getting worse and worse and more upset with each thing he told him. What do you mean he's trying to claim he's going to get jobs in America, but he's not making his stuff in America? And then he went into this high-pitched, crying-like scene with his hands on his mouth that was almost made me want to throw up.
Oh, and Melania.
Yeah, like a great Melania or something like that. Oh, please. That was the most pukiest thing ever. I don't know why they think that guy's so cool or something or whatever he is. He's disgusting. He looks freaky and stuff, and God, the way he stood up with his knees bent but his back straight, freaky looking and everything.
He was standing all sway back.
Yeah. But the whole thing was ridiculous because they're talking about all these things they've done, all the things they've done to keep everything supposedly so good, and they want to keep it democratic or Democrat to be in the White House. They don't realize everything they're saying is a damn lie, because everything they've done has screwed up the country. Not to say the Republicans haven't either, because
they all have.
For a long time, both parties have screwed up the country. So I'm not saying that to say that the Republicans have done a better job. But in comparison, monetarily, George Bush actually gave $750 to people that had a job at the time as an economic stimulus. I didn't see any Democrats giving any kind of money to actually our pockets. The Democrat that's in the White House right now allegedly gave money, but he gave it to the states for them to choose how to divvy it out. But this whole thing was really ridiculous, talking about Trump, and she's just as crooked herself, and just fawning over people, crying over what they're saying, like the people, like she's already gotten into office and already made everybody's lives better, already made the economy better, already saved people lots of money, and she's actually already accomplished what they hope she's going to, and they're crying and being thankful for it. The thing is really ridiculous, and I can't think of anything else more to say, so I'll pass it back over to you.
I have to echo, what you say. It's totally ridiculous. Like I said, we see the same crap every 4 years. We hear the same dried up, stale speeches every 4 years. My parents taught me that if you work hard, you can achieve anything you want. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Not in this economy.
Because you can work your brains out. And, if you're not of a certain color, if you're not in a certain zip code, or if you don't dance by a certain CEO's music or a certain supervisor's music, you don't get the top rung. You don't get that brass ring. So that's a bunch of bullcrap. These people are in these little positions, and they either sell their souls to the devil, or they'll get on the political version of the casting couch and do whatever it takes to get those positions, and that's how they attain them. And you know, I for one am sick and damn tired of hearing these two parties preaching and spilling the same rhetoric that they always do, and pushing these lackluster candidates at us that aren't worth a tinker's damn. So, I ask again that age-old question. When is the last time in recent history can you remember a president that was not from either of these two crooked parties? You'd probably have to go way, way back and, you know, try to find a president other than a Democrat or a Republican. So maybe there is a third choice out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just maybe it's time to start looking at the Green Party, looking at Jill Stein. You know, there again, all of those who want a woman as a president, the first woman, Jill is a woman, and she would make a good president. Because she is there for all the people, not like the Bitchery Clinton who claims. I get so sick and damn tired of these people talking about, oh yeah, she's going to make sure that there's going to be money for mothers with children who are suffering. What about fathers with children? Yes, there are some single fathers out there with children, either by design or by chance. Either they divorced the bastard because he couldn't get along with her, or she died on him and left him with the kids. Hard times hit everybody. That's the one thing that doesn't discriminate, is hard times. Bad finances, another thing that does not discriminate. It'll hit you if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're black, or if you're white. It'll hit you. So I'm thinking about somebody that's going to get in there and work for the betterment of everybody. They're talking about a woman's right to choose. So you want to murder your baby and get away with it. And you're going to pop that up so that you can, you know, well, hey, if you're going to murder the baby while he's still in you, then why don't they let the women go with postpartum depression when they throw the little junior out when they give him to him after he's been born and she busts his brains out on the floor? So, oops, that's an abortion. Let the woman go. No, the cops slap the clinks on her. So if they're going to get you for killing a baby that way, they should get you for killing the baby this way. I'm sick of the dumb crap. I'm sick of Republicans. I'm sick of Democrats because, you know, constantly, habitually, they have done very little to help anybody in this country, but they've done very greatly to stuff their own pockets with our tax dollars. And to put any one of them in there in this already screwed up mess is only going to screw it up even worse. At least put somebody in there that may try to take a stab at it. Jill2016.com. Go there now. Check her out. Because what we've got here with Trump and the Bitchery Clinton ain't getting into this boy's heart. Because they don't know what they're doing. They're both shady characters and they shouldn't be in the White House. You heard it from me. Exec, you got one more thing?
Yeah, I was thinking about this come together stuff, and I forgot one part that just came to my mind when you were speaking something about foreigners and Muslims. One of the speakers said we need to ensure that everybody comes together and works together, including blacks, whites, Asians, Mexicans, or whatever they chose, Latinos, or whatever they chose, and Muslims. That was my point. We don't want to come together with Muslims. We don't want them in our damn country. They killed over 2,000 people in 2001. You know,
more like 3,000.
3,000, you know, different, and they continue to do so. I don't want to get along with those people because a lot of them are potential terrorists. Look at all the stuff that continues happen almost weekly now, almost every 3 days now, and it's claimed to ISIS. One of the last things that happened, I forget which one it was. I think it was the backpack bombing. The guy that got denied to go into a club, so instead he went to a bar
on the bus.
And he went to a bar instead because he was denied the club, and he claimed allegiance to ISIS. You know, we don't want these people here. We don't need to get along with murderers. You know, I guess there is some potential good ones out there, but I don't wish to even have a chance to see what they're like compared to what their fellow people have done. So forget that. You know.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is they're talking about, excuse me, drink is getting back on me. They're talking about embracing diversity. Diversity, not our problem, but our promise. And I wanted to say, forget you.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
Forget you. Forget you. Anyway, embracing diversity leads to utter adversity, because you can't mix all of these people together and expect it to go right. Look at these muzzies. You want to take them specifically. They come over to a place, a host country, and they try to transform it to their way of being. They don't like pork. They don't like beer. They don't like alcohol. They don't like the way the girls dress. They don't like whatever. Everything offends them. I have nothing against muzzies as such. I have something against muzzies being in this country. If you're offended by this country, then stay the hell out. We've already got 1 million plus here. And we're sitting here constantly waiting on the other shoe to drop because we don't know that they're friendly, all of them. Oh, well, they've been there for about 10 years. Well, how long have they been here before they run planes through the Twin Towers? Or how long will it take for a nice muzzy to start looking at the extremists on the internet and say, oh, you know, such and so didn't go right the other day with these American people. I'm going to embrace Islamic extremists. I'm going to become an ISIS and blow you from here to New Jersey. You don't know. So, okay, we've got 1 million. It was estimated 1.6 million to 1.8 million. Those are here. And obviously you can't get rid of them. So let them stay here, monitor them closely, but don't let any more in. That's been my sermon. You know, I've been up on the cross preaching this for I don't know how long. The ones that are here, we deal with them. If they're really terrible, heinous crime committers, get them the hell out. But the ones that are here, even the illegal ones, deal with them. But shut the door. Close the border. Let no more in. Maybe one day somebody will hear that and take heed to it in this stupid political arena. Until they do, we're going to be here dodging foreigners and, you know, eating smoke because there's still that fire going on. Doing what we can to bring you the latest news and information. That's what we do here at the Phil Taylor Jones Show. I don't know if we can hang with this convention because it's sickening. But anyway, try to stay healthy, sane, and safe. And remember, we care about you greatly here at the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Join us again next time. Bye-bye.